Welcome to Movies in the Making, everyone! If you would like to hear about how films were done behind the scenes, please like down below and subscribe to this channel for more videos, including what films you think should be talked about. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at the 2005 superhero action film Fantastic Four, released by 20th Century Fox, now 20th Century Studios and owned by Disney, and directed by Tim Story. Here, we shall dive deep into the story of the production of this film. Films based on characters from Marvel Comics were so hit and miss throughout the 2000s before the Marvel Cinematic Universe began. Before 20th Century Fox was bought by Disney, while also after it released X-Men 2000, there were the Fantastic Four. So today, let's check out how the cast got their roles. Now, sit back and enjoy the show. You are all in for a quad ride. To expand its catalog through partnerships with various studios. Despite Marvel's financial troubles and an ongoing Chapter 11 restructuring, the formation of Marvel Studios had already started to shift the tide, with major Hollywood players drawn to superhero properties. Fox, in particular, had acquired rights to multiple Marvel franchises, including Fantastic Four. The film was scripted by Mike France and Chris Columbus and initially set to be directed by Pete Segal, following development efforts by Fox and Constantine Film. The film promised to be a visually ambitious project, featuring high-end CGI to bring its superpowered characters to life, such as the Elastic Mr. Fantastic, the Fiery Human Torch, the Rocky Thing, and the Invisible Sue Storm. Chris Columbus, who co-wrote the Fantastic Four script and had long expressed his enthusiasm for the project, ultimately stepped away from directing. Though Fox production head Tom Rothman claimed Columbus chose to focus on producing, industry sources indicate that Columbus pulled out after realizing his version of the film would cost around $165 million to make, a figure considered too high. While Rothman denied the budget concerns influenced the decision, Columbus's departure paved way for Segal's involvement, whose direction was seen as better aligned with the script's comedic tone. The shift marked a key turning point in the project's evolution, reflecting the financial and creative negotiations common in high-stakes superhero filmmaking. Before Tim Story took the helm of Fantastic Four, several other directors were attached to the project, including Columbus, who co-wrote the script and was originally set to direct but stepped away due to creative and budgetary concerns. He was succeeded briefly by Segal, but the search continued until Marvel Studios had Avi Arad champion Story for the role, impressed by his work on the modestly budgeted but character-driven Barbershop, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer 2002. Despite Story's limited experience with special effects, Arad believed his strength in handling ensemble dynamics and comedic timing made him the right fit to bring Marvel's first family to life. Story approached the superhero epic as a family drama, focusing on the interpersonal conflicts and bonds amongst the characters. Though he faced a steep learning curve with CGI and fan expectations, he embraced the challenge, drawing from his own love of the comics to shape such a film. Ioan Gruffudd landed the role of Reed Richards after years of steadily building his acting career from his early days in Welsh television and British period dramas to Hollywood films. After moving to Los Angeles, he faced setbacks like the cancellation of CBS's Century City, but he used the experience to hone his American accent and adapt to American industry standards. His breakout US role came after gaining attention for performances in Titanic, Paramount Pictures 1997, ITV's Hornblower, and King Arthur, Touchstone Pictures 2004, the latter helping shed his image as the soft-spoken period actor and showing he could take on more masculine, action-oriented roles. Mads Mikkelsen was originally cast before Gruffudd, but called his own audition humiliating. Gruffudd's versatility, professionalism, and persistence made him a fitting choice to play the intelligent and galactic Mr. Fantastic, a film he embraced for its fun, accessible storytelling and ensemble cast. Jessica Alba was cast as Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, after embracing the character's complexity, strength, and emotional depth. Though initially unaware of how iconic Sue was within the Marvel Universe, Alba took the role seriously, researching the character for the Ultimate and Marvel Knights comic series. She connected with Sue's flaws like her sensitivity and need for control, which mirrored aspects of her own personality, and appreciated the character's moral integrity and commitment to family. Story was such a long-time fan of Storm and envisioned Alba bringing heart and depth to the role, helping her shape a strong, intelligent, and relatable female superhero. Alba saw Sue as a rare positive role model for young women and admired the film's message about unity and solving problems as a team. Chris Evans landed the role of Johnny Storm the Human Torch at a pivotal time in both his personal life and career, marking his first major step into the world of superhero films. Reflecting on that period, Evans revealed he had just gone for a breakup and needed a win, making the role especially memorable. Although Marvel films were only beginning to take off, Evans embraced the opportunity, delivering a standout performance as the charismatic and cocky Johnny Storm, which would become a fan-favorite aspect of the film. While his later portrayal of Captain America in the MCU would eclipse this role, Fantastic Four was a major turning point in his career and helped launch him into the comic book film spotlight. Michael Chiklis had dreamed of playing Ben Grimm, also known as The Thing, since he was a child collecting Fantastic Four comics. The opportunity came to life years later when, at a GQ party, he boldly told Arad, "I've got 2 words for you, Ben Grimm." That moment stuck with Arad, who later told Chiklis he felt he was looking into the eyes of the character. After a successful meeting with Story, Chiklis was on board, though production delays clashed with his filming schedule for FX's The Shield. Thanks to personal appeals and behind-the-scenes cooperation from FX and Fox executives, filming for the show was pushed back to allow Chiklis to pursue the role. Ironically, this delay also allowed the show to cast Glenn Close for a pivotal role in its 4th season. Although passionate about staying true to the character, Chiklis faced intense challenges on set, particularly due to the physical demands of the full-body prosthetic suit he advocated for over CGI. While the costume added realism, it triggered panic attacks and left him physically drained after long shooting delays, especially when glued in gloves and heavy prosthetic feet that made it nearly impossible to move freely. At one point, he feared falling off a pier during a nighttime shoot, knowing he would be helpless in the water. To cope, Chiklis sought help from a psychiatrist who gave him tools to manage the stress. Despite the physical and psychological toll, he saw the experience one of the most rewarding of his career, proud of how the film captured the heart of the Fantastic Four while staying grounded in emotional truth. Julian McMahon landed the role of Dr. Doom after years of television work and brought his own interpretation to the iconic villain. A longtime fan of comic books, McMahon was drawn to the enduring nature of Doom, likening him to Joker in terms of inability to stay gone. While the film modernized Victor Von Doom into a wealthy industrialist turned supervillain, McMahon expressed interest in eventually portraying the more theatrical, sinister version of the comics. Though many of his scenes with the other main characters were cut during editing, resulting in his character feeling isolated, he felt that distance actually suited Doom's brooding nature. At the time of the film's release, McMahon had not yet experienced much public reaction due to his busy schedule, but was bracing for greater recognition, especially among younger fans, given the film's massive box office debut. Before Robert Downey Jr. became synonymous with Tony Stark, Marvel had actually met with him to potentially play Dr. Doom. The surprising detail was revealed in the story of Marvel Studios, the making of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where Iron Man, Paramount Pictures 2008, director Jon Favreau noted Downey had already been considered for the Doom role before casting him as Iron Man. Had he chosen as Victor Von Doom, he would have replaced McMahon in a film that ultimately suffered from a weak script. While Downey might have made a compelling Doom, it is hard to imagine anyone else defying the MCU like he did as Tony Stark, a role that catapulted him to the top of Hollywood. Yet, Downey later solidified the role of Dr. Doom for the upcoming Fantastic Four. First steps, Marvel Studios 2025. Fantastic Four utilized several iconic New York City locations to help bring Marvel's superhero team to life in a grounded, urban setting that matched their comic book origins. Filming took place at well-known spots including the Brooklyn Bridge, Battery Park, and various areas in Manhattan such as the Lower East Side, Broadway at East 21st Street, and East 22nd Street. These real-world locations were used to create a recognizable, authentic backdrop for the characters' transformation and public appearances, reinforcing the Fantastic Four's strong connection to New York City in both the comics and the film. The bustling atmosphere of Manhattan helped amplify the contrast between their ordinary lives and their extraordinary powers, while locations like Battery Park added a cinematic scope to action transitional scenes. However, not all scenes were filmed in New York, and some sequences were cleverly pieced together from different locations. One such scene involving Albus Storm and Griffith's Reed Richards was actually filmed in 2 completely separate cities. Alba was on a set in New York City, interacting with a stand-in actor, while Griffith filmed half of his conversation on a set in Vancouver, Canada. The kind of split location filming is such a common unique in film production and was likely employed to manage scheduling conflicts or budget considerations. Despite being recorded thousands of miles apart, the final cut of the film blends the performances seamlessly, demonstrating the skill of the filmmakers in maintaining continuity and emotional coherence. Vancouver, in fact, settled for several interior and exterior locations throughout the film, serving as a cost-effective alternative while New York provided necessary authenticity for key scenes. As of the 14th of July, 2025, Fantastic Four has a 27% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, a 4 out of 100 critic score on Metacritic, a 5.7 rating on IMDb, and a 2.6 rating on Letterboxd. The film's budget was $100 million and grossed about $333 million following its digital release date of the 8th of July 2005. And that wraps up our deep dive into the making of Fantastic Four. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay updated on all things movies in the making. Let us know in the comments what you think of Fantastic Four, if you have any theories for films we did not touch upon, or films you would like to hear covered by this channel. Also, be sure to check out our community page, where we announce what films will be talked about by this channel each week. New posts right every Friday. Thanks for watching, we'll see you all next time on Movies in the Making. We will be talking about Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, 20th Century Fox 2007, and more films to follow along the way. Tune in for more Movies in the Making, so we can cover the stories behind cinema's most unforgettable films. This has been Jason Scotchmer, film enthusiast and passionate about the arts.